Have you ever wondered why certain people appear to have an incredible knack for succeeding in whatever they try? They launch a business and turn it into a huge success in just a couple of years. They learn a new artistic ability and start creating top-notch work in no time. They jump into a tough industry and climb to the top quickly, even as others with much more experience stay stuck in place. And you know what folks usually say about these people? They're just lucky. They know the right people. They had money to start with. They're naturally gifted. You've probably heard these reasons countless times. Maybe you've even thought them yourself. But what if I said that luck, networks, starting capital, and innate ability aren't the true keys to their success? What if the real edge these folks have is something else entirely? Something that has little to do with outside help and everything to do with their unique way of viewing the world. The fact is, true experts don't simply do things differently from ordinary people. They observe and interpret things differently. They've tapped into what the Japanese refer to as mitsuku, the skill of seeing not only with your eyes, but with your entire being, mind, body, and essence, all working together. This isn't some vague spiritual idea. It's a practical mental ability that can be developed. And it sets apart the beginner who just follows steps from the expert who has gone beyond steps altogether. What's even more interesting is that ancient Japanese fighters laid out a clear method to build this skill. But there's a big challenge. Mastering this method means facing something that will challenge your self-image. It will make you recognize that a lot of what you believe about how to learn, train, and become great might be off base. Before I share this full method with you, I'd like to ask you to subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, and drop a comment below about one ability you're finding hard to get good at, even though you've been putting in steady work. Go ahead and share. I really enjoy checking out your thoughts and chatting with you. All right, let's explore this timeless knowledge. Let me share the story of a young guy named Kenji. He grew up in old Japan during the Sengoku era. Starting at age 13, he had one big dream: to become an outstanding swordsman. Kenji didn't come from a warrior background. He had no ties to samurai families, no special teacher to guide him, just a deep, unstoppable drive that fueled him like nothing else. While the other kids in his village settled into lives as farmers or traders, Kenji used every free moment to learn about sword fighting. He'd observe samurai traveling through town and try to remember how they moved. He'd study old texts about major fights. He'd read the works of famous sword experts like Miyamoto Musashi. By the time he was 16, he could recall battle tactics by heart. He knew all the classic sword moves. He grasped the code of the warrior, Bushido, better than many young samurai. His book knowledge was impressive. But when he grabbed a wooden training sword and tried to put it into action, things didn't go well. His body didn't follow along. The graceful actions he'd seen experts do felt stiff and unnatural when he tried them. The sword seemed cumbersome in his grip. For 2 years, Kenji stayed in this weird spot. The more he read and learned, the more facts he had. But his real ability hardly got better. He hit a wall at the starter level while seeing others move ahead. Then, one day, his life took a turn. Kenji was training by himself in the woods when an elderly, wandering samurai showed up out of nowhere. "Your movements are like someone repeating lines from a poem without getting what it means," the old man said. "You know the words, but not the heart of it." Kenji felt his cheeks get hot with shame. "I've gone through every text I could get my hands on, master. I know the moves." "No," the old man replied sharply. "You know facts about the moves. That's not the same as truly knowing them." The elderly fighter stepped closer. My name is Tishi. I've worked for 3 lords before going independent, and I spot in you the same error I made when I was young. You're attempting to master the sword using only your head, but that's not how the sword is mastered. Kenji looked puzzled. How else do you learn if not with your head? That's precisely why you're not progressing, Tishi said. You see the mind as a single thing. But the old masters knew people have 3 kinds of minds, not just one. And to reach the top, you need to bring all 3 together. Tishi took Kenji to an open spot and sat down. Before I show you anything about sword work, you have to grasp these 3 minds. This insight has been handed down by Japanese experts for ages, but not many young people today know about it. The first mind, Tishi started, is Shin, the reasoning mind. This is what you've been relying on. It's the part for logic, breaking things down, and deliberate thinking. This mind picks up information, remembers steps, and gets ideas. It's important, but it's not where true expertise comes from. He grabbed a stick and sketched in the soil. The second mind is Tai. The physical mind. This is the smarts in your muscles, skeleton, and nerves. It doesn't use words or ideas. It works through motion, feeling, and bodily recall. When you watch an expert move flawlessly, that's the physical mind at work. The third mind, Tishi went on, lowering his voice, is Shinshin, the inner mind. This is the deepest smarts, the part that understands without explaining how. The experts call this Mushin, empty mind. Here, there's no divide between you and the sword, between what you want to do and doing it, between you and your rival. Kenji worked to wrap his head around it. But teacher, how do I build these other minds? I only know how to use the reasoning mind. That's right, Tishi said. That's the issue with how people learn today. Your whole life, you've been told that learning is about using the reasoning mind, reading, repeating facts, grasping concepts. And that's made your reasoning mind strong, but left the others weak. Real expertise needs all 3 minds in harmony. And there's a structured way that the ancient fighters created to join them. We call it the 3 gates. The first gate, Tishi described, is Kata Shin, pattern mind. Here, you're teaching your physical mind what your reasoning mind already understands. For the next 6 months, you'll train just 1 kata, the simplest sword pattern. You'll do it slowly, with full focus, 1,000 times a week. Kenji felt disappointed. Just 1 pattern for half a year? But teacher, I want to learn actual combat moves. Tishi's expression grew serious. And that eagerness is why you'll stay average if you keep thinking like that. The first gate isn't about gathering moves. It's about helping your physical mind learn to express itself. Right now, when you hold the sword, your reasoning mind is micromanaging every action. Put your foot there. Tilt the blade like this. Adjust your balance that way. Your reasoning mind is constantly directing, like a boss yelling at unsure workers. That's too sluggish, too awkward, too deliberate. In an actual battle, there's no room for the reasoning mind to call the shots. The physical mind has to react right away, without thinking. But your physical mind is like it's unable to hear or speak right now. It doesn't know the right way to move, because it hasn't been taught properly. So we have to educate it. And educating the physical mind calls for a totally different method than educating the reasoning mind. Tishi showed the kata, a basic series of strikes, defenses, and positions. You won't analyze while training this. No breaking it down, no trying to figure it out. Just do it again and again. Let your physical mind soak it up through sheer practice. For the first month, Kenji had a hard time. His reasoning mind kept jumping in. Is this correct? Should my foot shift left more? Is the angle right? The non-stop inner talk made each move feel robotic and strained. But Tishi didn't let up. Quit thinking, just act. Sense the pattern. Let your body absorb it. Bit by bit, a change started. Around the third month, on repetition 3,847, something amazing occurred. Kenji's body did the kata flawlessly, smoothly, elegantly, and he hadn't been thinking about it. His reasoning mind had gone quiet, and his physical mind had just performed it. Did you notice that? Tishi asked, observing from the side. That instant when thinking vanished and only the action was left. That's the physical mind starting to wake up. What Kenji felt has a clear explanation from modern brain science. When you pick up a physical ability, the info starts in your prefrontal cortex, the part for aware thinking. That's slow, needs heavy focus, and tires you out fast. But with the right kind of repeats, about 300 to 1,000 correct ones, something cool happens. The movement pattern shifts from the prefrontal cortex to the cerebellum and basal ganglia. These are older, quicker, more effective brain parts that work below awareness. Once the ability is stored there, it turns into what scientists call procedural memory, or muscle memory. The ability doesn't need thinking anymore. It runs on autopilot, smoothly, perfectly. This is what the old Japanese fighters sensed and named the physical mind. They didn't have brain scans, but from hundreds of years of watching, they knew real ability is deeper than conscious thought. But here's what most people today miss. This shift from aware to automatic only comes with a certain kind of training. Not any old repeats will do. The training has to be slow enough for perfect execution, attentive enough to avoid mind drifting, repeated enough to embed it deeply, and without non-stop breaking it down. That's why Tishi stopped Kenji from analyzing during sessions. Breaking it down keeps the ability in the reasoning mind. To move it to the physical mind, you train in what the Japanese term mushin no shin, a mind without mind. After 6 months at the first gate, Kenji's body had mastered one kata so well that he could do it perfectly while chatting, while unfocused, even while drowsy. The pattern was fully in his physical mind. Now, Tishi said, "You're set for the second gate." The first gate showed your physical mind how to perform patterns perfectly. But if you end there, you'll be inflexible. You'll do katas great in training, but in a real fight, where things go off script, you'll struggle. The second gate is Henka Shin, change mind. Here, you learn to adjust, react, and go with the flow in shifting situations. For the next year, Tishi switched up the training. Instead of the same kata over and over, Kenji now dealt with constant changes. Tishi would strike from various directions, at different paces, using different tools, with tricks and fakes. Sometimes he'd fight one-on-one. Other times, he'd have extra trainees attack Kenji at once. At first, Kenji was swamped. His physical mind knew the ideal kata, but actual fighting was messy. Nothing fit the neat patterns he'd learned. Your physical mind knows one phrase perfectly now, Tishi said after a tough day. It can say one sentence well, but to be great, your physical mind needs to be fluent. To say thousands of sentences, to make up new ones on the spot, that's the point of the second gate. You're not picking up new moves. You're teaching your physical mind to create on the fly, using the base from the first gate to adapt endlessly. Tishi brought in a key idea that transformed everything. The sense of fighting space and timing. Most learners think combat is about specific moves, defend this way, strike that way. But experts know it's about mai. If your mai is spot on, even a basic move can be powerful. If it's off, even a fancy move fails. Mai can't be taught to the reasoning mind. It's too changing, too smooth, too tied to the moment. Only the physical mind can sense and handle mai as it happens. For months, Kenji worked on his physical mind to feel space and timing. Tishi would attack, and Kenji would train to counter with just the right amount of action. Not too soon, not too late, not overdone, not underdone, just right. Gradually, Kenji built what experts call sen, the foresight. The skill to sense the instant before something happens, to feel a rival's incoming move, not through deliberate watching, but through the physical mind's direct sensing. One day in training, Kenji defended against a strike he hadn't seen coming consciously. His body reacted before his reasoning mind knew there was a danger. There, Tishi said with unusual praise, "Your physical mind is getting smarter. It's learning to see and act without needing directions from your reasoning mind." As Kenji's physical mind grew, he started noticing odd things. He could sense stuff he couldn't put into words. He'd be sparring and suddenly know the opponent was going for a high strike, even if their stance looked the same. He'd detect someone staring at him from behind. He'd pick up on a rival's inner strength, if they were fully in or holding back, before they acted. "Teacher," Kenji asked one night, "am I making up these sensations or are they real?" Tishi grinned. "They're real, and you're not imagining, but they're not from where you assume. Your reasoning mind handles info slowly, one step at a time. Eye spot, brain examines, choice made, action done. That's too slow for expertise, but your physical mind handles info another way. It grabs thousands of tiny hints at once, small twitches, energy shifts, breath changes, timing tweaks. It works all that below awareness and gives what seems like a gut feeling or sense. Experts call this kiken, the skill to sense and blend with your rival's energy and aim. It feels mysterious, but it's your nerves working at a level your reasoning mind can't reach. In the second gate, Tishi shared a deep truth. You're building your physical mind, not just to act well, but to sense profoundly. The physical mind has its own way of knowing. As it strengthens, you start seeing parts of the world that were always there, but hidden from your reasoning mind. This is what brain experts call embodied cognition. The finding that smarts isn't only in the head, but all through the body. Your body can literally know things your aware mind misses. Top athletes call it the zone. Musicians call it flow. Fighters call it mushin, no mind. But they're all talking about the same thing. The physical mind leading while the reasoning mind quiets down. After 18 months at the second gate, Kenji had a flexible, adjusting fighting approach. His physical mind could handle any setup with the right move. He'd reached what many would label expert swordsmanship, but Tishi said something surprising. You're capable now, maybe even expert, but you're not a master yet. There's a third gate that only a few students ever enter. And to go in, you have to let go of all you've worked to gain. The third gate, Tishi explained, is mushin, no mind. This is where the inner mind comes alive. At the first gate, your reasoning mind taught your physical mind. At the second, your physical mind learned to change and sense. But at the third, something more profound stirs, the part beyond thought and body. Kenji was confused. "Teacher, what's beyond thought and body?" "Pure being," Tishi answered. "Clear awareness, the observer, the part that notices thought, notices body, notices all, but isn't any of those. At the third gate, you don't use moves. The moves happen through you. Or really, moves don't exist anymore. There's just the ideal reaction coming up naturally from nothing." For the next 3 years, Tishi's lessons turned contradictory. He quit adding new stuff for Kenji. Instead, he started taking away. "You think too much," Tishi would say, halting a session. "Clear your thoughts." "You're pushing too hard," he'd note another time. "Quit pushing, just exist." "You're picking moves," he'd point out. "Quit picking. Let the situation pick through you." This drove Kenji crazy. He felt like he was regressing. When he tried to clear his mind, thoughts got louder. When he tried not to push, he was pushing not to push, which was still pushing. One day, after a really tough training, Kenji sat feeling beaten. "Teacher, I can't figure it out. How do I make my mind stop thinking? Thoughts keep coming when I try to empty it." Tishi joined him. "That's because you're using the reasoning mind to control the reasoning mind. It's like trying to view your own eyes. Impossible. The third gate isn't about managing the mind. It's about seeing you're not the mind. You're the awareness where mind, body, and everything show up. Let me demonstrate." Tishi gestured to the sky. "Who's noticing that cloud?" "I am," Kenji said. "And who's noticing your body here?" "I am." "And who's noticing your thoughts and emotions?" "I am." Then Tishi asked softly, "Who is this I that's noticing all, but isn't a thing itself?" For the first time, Kenji's reasoning mind went totally still. Not forced, but because the question went past the mind. "This awareness," Tishi went on, "the old masters named the inner mind. It's not something you own. It's your core self under all habits, all learning, all roles. Getting this with your head is one thing. Living it is different." For months after that talk, Kenji got flashes of this deeper awareness. In quiet sitting, in training, sometimes in everyday life. Short moments where inner talk stopped and a deep calm emerged. In those times, the world felt sharp, right there, full of life like never before. Colors popped more, sounds rang clearer, time stretched. And during sword training in those moments, something wild happened. Kenji would counter strikes he hadn't noticed consciously. His body moved with ideal timing and accuracy. But he didn't feel like he was making it happen. It just occurred through him. Tishi called this sui, like flowing water. When water runs down a hill, does it plan its path? Does it analyze? Does it effort? No. It just handles every block, every gap, every shift perfectly. That's the third gate. You turn into water. Effortless, ideal reaction. One day, 5 years into training, Kenji was facing 3 rivals at once. Suddenly, something opened up. Or more like, something dropped. The feeling of being separate vanished. There wasn't Kenji versus foes. There was just action happening, perfect and natural, from nothing. His body moved like water, handling strikes from all sides with an ease and skill that seemed unreal. When it ended, Kenji stood gasping, not from tiredness, but from how strange it felt. He couldn't recall deciding anything. No thought, no move, no effort, just pure doing from emptiness. Tishi watched with emotion in his eyes. You've gone through the third gate. What you felt, that's Mushin. That's mastery. But Tishi warned Kenji of something key. Don't cling to this feeling. Many who taste Mushin once chase it forever. That's a mistake. The third gate isn't a feeling you grab and keep. It's your basic state when nothing blocks it. Some days it'll be clear. Others, thoughts and effort will come back. That's normal. That's human. The real master isn't stuck in Mushin all the time. The real master shifts smoothly among all three minds as required. Tishi clarified, the reasoning mind isn't bad. It's a great tool for the right jobs, like planning, instructing, solving puzzles. The trouble is, when it tries to handle everything, even what it's not built for. The physical mind isn't the end. It's smarter than the reasoning mind, but still deals with patterns, moves, and learns stuff. The inner mind is the root, the light that shows all. But even that's not something to gain. It's you when you drop pretending otherwise. The true master, Tishi summed up, uses all three freely. Thinks when needed. Acts from physical mind in motion. Rests as inner mind when idle. Years on, Kenji saw the three gates aren't separate. They're three angles on one reality. Like viewing a mountain from different sides. 20 years after starting, Kenji was a famous swordsman. Learners traveled far to study with him. And they'd ask, Master, what's your secret? Kenji would smile and reply, no secret. Just the path of the three gates, and it's open to anyone ready to commit. But Kenji learned more over time. The three gates aren't only for swords. They're the basic way mastery grows in any area. Want to master tunes? First gate, train your hands for perfect patterns with endless repeats. Second gate, build your ear and skill to create on the spot and react. Third gate, play from nothing, where music comes through without trying. Want to master trade? First gate, learn core methods and top ways through copying and repeats. Second gate, learn to tweak those for shifting markets and react fast. Third gate, decide from deep gut feel, where choices come without overthinking. Want to master bonds with people? First gate, learn basic talking, being there, and understanding others through deliberate work. Second gate, build the skill to sense people deeply and react truly to each moment. Third gate, connect from your real self without plans or tricks. Want to master any field? The steps are the same. First gate, build the physical mind with steady repeats. Second gate, grow, adjusting smarts and deep sensing. Third gate, find the inner mind for effortless top skill. But Kenji stressed, most folks never hit mastery because they won't finish the first gate. They try to jump to fun creating and flow without the dull base. That's not possible. You can't jam without drilling scales thousands of times. You can't handle business changes without solid core rules from focused learning. You can't reach Mushin without strong pattern mind and change mind. The path is lengthy. It's tough, but it delivers. It has for ages across cultures and fields. No quick ways, just gates to cross. But Kenji saw a problem in his time and later ones. A kind of confusion was growing that blocked real mastery. People now, Kenji would say, have what I call gate mix-up. They blend the gates wrong. They try first gate basics with second gate styles. They push for third gate feels using first gate ways, and they stay stuck. I see learners who want a personal style before nailing basics. That's second gate stuff without first gate done. It makes average work that looks original. I see learners who study books on flow and zone and force it with effort. That's using reasoning mind for no mind. Won't work. I see learners who grab endless moves, always chasing new before mastering old. They have tons of tools, but none well. They never end the first gate, ditching for fresh stuff. Today's world, Kenji noted, favors quick over deep, new over expert, facts over insight. That's why real masters are scarce, not from lack of gift, but lack of sticking with it. Social platforms make it worse. People view master highlights at third gate and think they can leap there. They miss the decade of dull first gate drills. They miss the hard second gate adjusting. They see only the end and want it now. But mastery doesn't go like that. Never has. The three gates are built into how skills grow in our bodies. You can ignore it, but not alter it. So understand this. Kenji's story, the sword, the old fighter training. This isn't old news. It's for you today. Whatever you're aiming to master, if you're not advancing despite effort, you're likely doing one of three things wrong. First, skipping the first gate. You seek outcomes before base. You want to create before capable. You want to adapt before basics are automatic. Fix. Pick one core skill in your area. Train it fully focused, 500 to 1,000 times. Not studying, not breaking down. Just repeats till your physical mind has it. In coding, code the same simple routine 500 times till your hands do it without thought. In writing, redo the same section format 500 times till natural. In trade, rehearse your talk or main skill 500 times till smooth. In tunes, run the same note pattern 1,000 times till automatic. Second, staying forever in first gate. You gather moves, facts, but never build adjusting smarts. You know lots, but can't handle new twists. Fix. Once a skill is deep, you can do it distracted, tired, thoughtless. Add changes. Shift settings. Bring surprises. Make your physical mind adapt. Face rivals. Use varied stuff. Solve fresh issues. Handle changes. That's how your physical mind learns to create and flow. Third, forcing the third gate. You read on flow. Try letting go. Trust gut, but without skill base for true ease. Fix. Quit pushing for no mind. Finish first and second gates so well that third opens on its own. You can't make emptiness. Just clear blocks. Third gate isn't gained. It's what's left when skill is so deep, effort fades. Here's the precise training plan Kenji gave serious learners. You can use it now in your field. First gate work, months 1 to 6. Pick 2 to 3 core skills. Train each daily with total focus. At least 100 repeats per day, per skill. No changes, no creating, just ideal repeats. Go slow for perfect execution. Cut thinking during sessions. Log repeats. Target 1,000 plus per skill. When you can do it while pro-distracted, move to Gate 2. Gate 2 work, months 7 to 24. Keep daily core repeats, 50 each. Add changes, varied settings, surprises. Train reacting to unknowns. Study how top folks in your area adapt and flow. Build your sensing in the field, your my. Start mixing skills new ways. Find practice partners or changing setups. When adapting feels easy and gut-based, you're near gate 3. Third gate opening, year 3+. Keep prior work, but less forced. Add daily quiet or calm time, 10 to 20 minutes. Do your skill without doing. Drop moves while keeping ability. Be as awareness in action. Let natural doing come without push. This gate comes when ready. No rush. Keynotes. Most quit first gate from boredom. That's the challenge. Can you keep going? Most stay in first gate by adding endless new stuff over deepening. Most try forcing third gate with ideas. Doesn't work. Gates go in order. No skips. Kenji lived to 78. In his last days, with close learners around, one asked, "Master, what's the biggest lesson from your life?" Kenji paused long, breathing calmly. Then he said, "Mastery isn't becoming new. It's clearing what hides your true self." First gate gives pattern. Second gives change. But third shows you weren't learning. You were recalling what was always there under habits. The reasoning mind, physical mind, inner mind, they're not apart. They're 3 sides of your true self. When they join, that's what old ones called Shinshin Ichinyo, mind, body, spirit united. He gazed at each learner with eyes that pierced deep. Don't lose years like me chasing false quick ways. The 3 gates are the way, the only way. Go through each fully. No hurry, no jumps, no quitting in dull or hard times. And here's the unspoken. The way is the goal. You think mastery waits at the end, but it's in every repeat, every tweak, every aware instant. You're already master, just not seen it. Gates aren't barriers. They're insights. Each reveals deeper you. And after all 3, you'll see the starter and finisher aren't the same, yet always were. Those were his final words on the path. Kenji shut his eyes, breathed last, and went back to the nothing all comes from. His learners bowed low, eyes wet, knowing they'd seen a true master's close. But Tishi's lessons lived on through them, and every group after. And now you. If this stirs something deep, subscribe now and turn on alerts to catch every lesson. And comment which gate you're at in your path. First, second, third, or just starting. If you got to the end, you're top 1%. Most drop in 3 minutes. Staying shows you have the staying power for mastery. That sets you apart from those wanting wins without sweat. Now, quit just watching, shut this, and start first gate work today. Pick 1 core skill. Do 100 ideal repeats daily for 6 months. Years later, this will be your shift point, when you went from seeker to doer. Till next, follow the path with respect and commitment. The 3 gates are ready.